In today's news, Honorable Hon Turnbull representing the BVI at COP27 to meet Overseas Territory Minister Goldsmith. And the BVI Electricity Corporation's General Manager explains one-year contract with SOL St Lucia assures no direct impact on electricity prices. And Dr. Michael Turnbull and wife Shondrea to become senior pastor and first lady at the King Garden Bay Baptist Church. And it's unfortunate that residents of the 1st District will go unrepresented in the House of Assembly until the next general election. Viewers, these and more stories when 284 News return.
Freeze. Choose your mix, choose your flavor.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Well, welcome viewers to the Wednesday, November 9th edition of 284 News. I am Kamal Haynes, bringing you the latest out of the British Virgin Islands. Well, thank you so much for joining us. While leading today's newscast, Minister for Natural Resources and Labour, Honourable Hon Turnbull, is currently abroad representing the Territory at the 27th session of the Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, also referred to as COP27, in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. In offering a breakdown of the BVI's intentions for the conference, Honourable Turnbull said, and I quote, "It is important to note that small island nations such as ours typically have the smallest carbon footprint and produce the least amount of pollution, but however suffer consequences that we are far less able to mitigate than larger countries and states whose contributions to climate change is far greater. Well, this is why our presence and participation in COP27 along with other small island states is crucial," end quote. Well, it has been noted that COP27 is a unique opportunity for the BVI to strengthen its partnership with the United Kingdom government through the newly appointed Overseas Territories Minister, the Right Honourable Lord Goldsmith. Well, during his time in Egypt, Minister Turnbull is expected to meet with Lord Goldsmith to discuss support mechanisms. Well, Turnbull is also expected to contribute to discussions during the protagonist Latin American and Caribbean Parliament's Mobilizing Climate Finance event, where he is to speak in support of the Parliamentary Observatory on Climate Change and Just Transition, with which the BVI holds a partnership. Well, a statement from Turnbull seen by 284 News echoed the dire situation presented by climate change. Well, it said, and I quote, "Globally, the increasing frequency and intensity of extreme weather events is impacting the lives and livelihoods of millions of people. A rising global average temperature and rapid global warming are causing alarming consequences on human beings and all other forms of life on the earth. In the Virgin Islands, we have first-hand experience through increased flooding and stronger tropical weather systems, which includes the devastating hurricanes of 2017, that is Irma and Maria. The universal goal of COP27 is to accelerate global climate action through emissions reduction, scaled-up adaptation efforts, and enhanced flows of appropriate finance," end quote. Moving on, viewers, where the BVI Electricity Corporation's General Manager Leroy Abraham has explained that the short duration of the corporation's new agreement with SOL St Lucia for fuel supply and services at 2 power stations in the Territory is a result of the current conditions impacting the global oil market at this time. Well, Abraham noted that the corporation is optimistic that the situation could normalize soon and therefore must be in a position to quickly adjust.
Recognizing where we are globally in terms of fuel prices, we're hoping that things would regularize because, as I mentioned before, we're dealing with an unprecedented situation propagated by the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. So we're hoping that by early 2023, things would essentially normalize and fuel prices would go back to normal, which is why we only engage in a contract for 1 year. As all of us know, what it is we're seeing now is mind-blowing to, as I said, G20 global leaders, even the academics, who can't find a solution to what it is that's taking place. We do know it's not going to last forever, but none of us have a crystal ball with regards to how the extent of time that the current situation will continue, unfortunately.
Well, a new deal with SOL St Lucia comes following the premature end of agreements with Delta after it was determined that Delta could no longer meet its obligations to provide number 2 diesel to the BVIEC. In addition to taking over the supply of fuel to the Henry Wilfred Smith Power Station and the Anegada Power Station, SOL St Lucia has also been contracted to provide lubricants and waste oil removal services at these facilities. Well, in terms of security for this deal, should it not progress like the last, Abraham admitted that the reality remains that all suppliers are susceptible to the volatility of the industry.
The rationale for the premature end of the last contract was the supplier indicated that they could not gain access to the product. If SOL comes around, I hope not, Rafidom. If SOL comes around in the not too distant future and indicates that they have an inability to gain access to the product, then we're right back to where we are. As I mentioned before, the situation which is taking place in the world, I'm not too sure how many of you, it's our business, so we're up to date with regards to what it is that's taking place in the industry in terms of fuel. CNN is stating that the United States is down to like 25 days worth of diesel. So things are very volatile in the world right now.
While Abraham went on to tell 284 News that this volatility remains a key factor in electricity pricing in the territory. Well, he explained that despite the new contracts having no direct impact on customers' monthly bills due to the supplier's cost rate being fixed, another hike in global oil prices certainly could.
The way our electricity pricing is done is based on a global index because oil is a commodity which changes in price on a daily basis. So depending on when, so there's that fluctuating component to the price, and then there's a fixed component to the price, which is a fuel supplier's costs for logistics, administration, and so forth. So that price doesn't change, but we have no control over the volatility with regards to fuel prices.
Well, up next, viewers, Dr. Hon Turnbull and wife Shondrea to become senior pastor and first lady at the King Garden Bay Baptist Church. And it's unfortunate that residents of the 1st District will go unrepresented in the House of Assembly until the next general election. But these and more stories after a word from our sponsors.
Introducing a show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. It doesn't always involve suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons. I'm taking you outside in the field to share the journey of some of the BVI's the best and brightest men. From East End to West End, Virgin Gorda to Joss Van Dyke, not forgetting Anegada. Our Virgin Islands gentlemen are doing the damn thing. We are the movers and shakers of this generation. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. Season 4 by yours truly, Ron Grant. Raising a generation of greatness. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on 284 Media.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up, start the day. Maybe it's sheer grit. Maybe it's your ethics. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. We all have our reasons, and for Republic Bank, that reason is you. Every little thing, every big thing. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you. We're here to help.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Welcome back, viewers. Reverend Dr. Michael Turnbull is set to become the next senior pastor of the King Garden Bay Baptist Church, while his wife, Minister Shondrea Turnbull, will become the First Lady. Well, this was confirmed by the church in a social media post on Tuesday, November 8th, which said the appointment is set for April 2023. Well, according to the post, the transition became official on November 2nd, 2022, after members of the church unanimously agreed and accepted the proposal. While speaking on the announcement, the current senior pastor, Reverend Dr. Melvin Turnbull, said he was elated about the transition as it represents a promising future for the church. Well, he said, and I quote, "Well, the year 2022 is a very special and historic movement for the King Garden Bay Baptist Church. Our 2022 theme is Elevated, and we continue celebrating 60 years of faithful ministry to God and humanity. Well, there have been several announcements made throughout the year. There have been several transitioning moments as well, and I'm thrilled about this transition as it means that as a church, we continue to grow," end quote. But the post further revealed that Senior Pastor Turnbull also anointed the couple on the evening of November 2nd, stating that he asked God to prosper their steps and asked the couple to remain committed doing what is right. Well, he said, and I quote, "As a church, we have committed to cover, love, and support them as they take King Garden Bay Baptist Church to the next level," end quote. Well, viewers, the transition is one that has been taking place for 7 years, with the first announcement occurring on Sunday, July 18, 2022, to the congregation of the church both in person and online. Following that announcement, the post said that the Board of Directors of the King Garden Bay Baptist Church unanimously approved the transition in their meeting on October 19, 2022. But subsequently, on the October 19, 2022, the ordained ministers of the King Garden Bay Baptist Church unanimously approved the board's decision for the transition, which will start in 2023, following Dr. Michael Turnbull's installation. Well, moving on to our next story, where it is unfortunate that residents in the 1st District have been made to go unrepresented in the House of Assembly for approximately 7 months, a period that will continue to extend until the next general election is called in the BVI. Well, this was the sentiment shared by former Speaker of the House of Assembly, Miss Ingrid Moses-Scatliff, during an exclusive interview with Tweet4 News. A former Premier and the current 1st District Representative, Honorable Andrew Foy, has been away from the territory since late April this year, following his arrest in the United States for charges of conspiracy to import a controlled substance, conspiracy to engage in money laundering, and attempted money laundering. With no resignation submitted by Foy to the House of Assembly following his arrest, it means that he continues to hold his 1st District seat in the House, despite not being present in any of the sittings during the 7-month period. Well, Moses-Scatliff described the phenomenon as unfortunate, especially from the point of view of the voting population of the district, which elected Foy for the purpose of representation in the House of Assembly.
In my view, it's unfortunate that what has happened has actually happened, and I hate to use the word unfortunate again. It's now almost 7 months later that we're here, and the representative technically is not able to assist his members. I'm not apportioning blame anyway. I'm just saying the reality is that you have a district that's not represented. They're not represented in the House of Assembly. They're not represented in the district. And really and truly, situations such as those, I think, because we are elected by the people, for the people, and we have a responsibility and accountability to the people to ensure that their interests are always represented. And I think 7 months, and it's not even 7 months, because they're saying 7 months and then having a by-election or election taking place within the next month, perhaps, but that's not going to be the case either.
But while not casting blame on any particular individual or entity, Moses-Scatliff said that the situation is a disservice to the constituents of the 1st District, as an amicable remedy should have taken place at much earlier stage to ensure representation remained for the people of the 1st District in the House of Assembly.
I think the people of the 1st District and the people of the territory of the Virgin Islands deserve a whole lot better. We should not be at this particular point at where we're at, because it's a disservice to particularly the constituents in the 1st District. Because we know, prior to any of this happening, we know that If a vacancy exists, somebody dies, then you need to act swiftly because you have to get that seat in the House of Assembly replaced first and foremost so that the constituencies, whether they are constituency for the entire territory or constituency for any particular area, that they get representation.
And so ultimately, until the next general elections, the people of the first district will generally go unrepresented in the House of Assembly, that is, until the next election.
Correct.
With a by-election highly unlikely in the first district due to the amendments made to sections 24A of the Elections Act, Moses Catliff said first district will be made to go unrepresented in the House of Assembly until the next general election is called in the territory.
The amendment that was made to the Elections Act at that time is section 24A, and it specifically states, whenever an elected member of the House of Assembly vacates his or her seat for any reason other than a dissolution of the House of Assembly, a by-election shall be held to fill the vacancy on such date as the governor shall appoint by proclamation published in the Gazette within 2 months. Here's the proviso, but not less than 21 days of the occurrence of the vacancy, unless the House of Assembly is sooner dissolved or will be dissolved under Section 84 of the Virgin Islands Constitution Order 2007 within 4 months of the occurrence of the vacancy. So if, as it relates to the specific case, no. I think, unfortunately, time has essentially run out for a by-election because a general election would be constitutionally due at the anniversary of 4 years. Elections was held on March 12, 2019. 4 years forward is March 12, 2023. And you have 60 days from that time is the latest and 21 days the earliest. But because a vacancy would arise in District 1 seat, the 4 months, if you do the calculation, we're down to the very same time, which is what I mean when I say the time has essentially run out.
Well, up next, viewers, landslide victory for Bryan-led administration in the United States Virgin Islands election. And Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley calls for action in place of talk at COP27. We get to those stories when 284 News returns.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
You value traditions. Today, you value music. You value education. Family. I love you. Service.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, I can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this ain't like you, you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
The beautiful Virgin Islands, or nature's little secret as some prefer, where the weather stays warm and the drinks stay cold, where men in wigs get their lawyer bills paid by governments and governments lose planes, where walls are built and prisoners escape. You vacation where we suffer. BVI love.
Welcome back, viewers. Well, it was a landslide victory for Albert Bryan Jr. as he retained the governorship of the United States Virgin Islands after securing over 4,000 more votes than his nearest competitor, Kurt Violet. When voting closed, a total of 21,522 votes were cast, reflecting a 53.93% voter turnout for the U.S. territory. Well, of this, 11,544 votes were in favor of the Bryan-led administration. Our results from the election system showed that the second most supported campaign was that of Violet, who secured 7,926 votes. He was followed by Stephen Fred with 705 votes and Ronald Rickard with 238 votes. Well, local reports indicate that while Bryan's campaign dominated margins in the St. Thomas St. John district, and early voting, same-day voting in St. Croix showed heavy support for the Violet campaign, who secured a 600-plus vote lead in that area. Where the victory has been dubbed as Bryan's chance to complete his ongoing efforts, including recovery from the 2017 hurricane season and the redevelopment of the United States Virgin Islands health infrastructure. Bryan, immediately following his victory, sat with Ernest Gilbert of the VI Consortium, where he reflected on his campaign and what had been his final election.
It was my last election. I won't be running for anything else. Nobody has to worry about that. But it was just so humbling, and now I'm just so grateful to just so many Virgin Islanders. We recognize that this is a diverse community and we embrace all the people that choose to make here home. There's a certain group of people that are just angry. It's about who is going to be in charge. And that's okay. They may never like the Brian Roach team, but all we got to do is make sure that we do the best for the most people in the Virgin Islands, and that's what's important.
Well, viewers, a summary results report on the USVI's November 8th, 2022 general election can be viewed via our 284media.com website. Moving on to our final story in regional news, Prime Minister of Barbados PM Mottley has again made international headlines for her contributions to global discussions on the issue of climate change, this time at the 27th session of the Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, also referred to as COP27. Take a listen.
I ask us how many more and how much more must happen. And I say so because there is no simplicity in it. We get it. I come from a small island state that has high ambition, but that is not able to deliver on that high ambition because the global industrial strategy that we have has fault lines in it. Our ability to access electric cars or our ability to access batteries or photovoltaic panels are constrained by those countries that have the dominant presence and can produce for themselves, but the global south remains at the mercy of the global north on these issues.
Well, at the time, Mottley was taking industrialized nations or the global north to task for failing the development world or for failing the developing world or the global south in the fight against climate change. But Mottley lamented that the global north has prospered, creating a global crisis characterized by high carbon emissions, while the developing world was left to pay the price, fighting issues it did not create.
How many more countries must falter, particularly in a world that is now suffering the consequences of war and inflation, and countries therefore are unable to meet the challenges of finding the necessary resources to finance their way to net zero. This world looks still too much like it did when it was part of an imperialistic empire.
But Mottley is adamant that the prevailing circumstances are fundamentally unfair and that something must be done now to unlock the necessary funding that developing countries need to support their journey to net zero.
There was and must be a commitment to unlocking concessional funding for climate vulnerable countries. There is no way that developing countries who have been graduated can fight this battle without access to concessional funding. We heard it on this stage from the head of my old alma mater at LSU. We believe that it is critical that we address the issue of loss and damage. The talk must come to an end.
Well, viewers, that's all we have for today's newscast. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com and like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Kamal Haynes, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a safe and enjoyable evening. Bye-bye.
Freeze. Choose your mix. Choose your flavor.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Introducing a show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. It doesn't always involve suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons. I'm taking you outside in the field to share the journey of some of the BVI's the best and brightest men. From East End to West End, Virgin Gorda to Jos Van Dyke, not forgetting Anegada. Our Virgin Islands gentlemen are doing the damn thing. We are the movers and shakers of this generation. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. Season 4 by yours truly, Ron Grant. Raising a generation of greatness. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on 284 Media.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up, start the day. Maybe it's sheer grit. Maybe it's your ethics. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. We all have our reasons, and for Republic Bank, that reason is you. Every little thing, every big thing. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you. We're here to help.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
You value traditions. Today, you value music. You value education. Family. I love you. Service.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, I can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.